so glad to catch this immaculate carp. It means really a lot to me. A very strong fighter, this beautiful mirror carp, and also it looks like a very good size. This really makes me feel that we have to change strategy somehow. Let's see what happens. Every angler on his journey has achievements and goals to set. We accept adversity, gain many satisfactions, witnessing precious moments, chasing a kind of freedom, a freedom you can only feel by being on the bankside. Welcome to CarpQuest. The reason why I pick up this place, it's easy because it's very challenging place. It's not easy to fish here because of the weed that are growing a lot and infesting this water. Basically, it's very tough condition because you must go out with the boat to drop your bait and mostly to save the fish once you have a run, because immediately this will be stuck inside the weeds. For this reason, we are going to use, as I said, the boat, but mostly we're going to use a shorter rod. It's a 10-foot rod. These are specific rods to use it by the boat whenever you are fishing straight from a bigger boat or, from the bank, but still using the boat to drop the bait at long distance, or even just in the weedy conditions like this, where also you need to pull a lot whenever you need to be sure that you can take the fish out. From our arrival, basically, we already had very different conditions of weather. We arrived and it was very cloudy after days of rain, so also we have seen the lake rising a bit. We started just going out and using also the eco sounder, because on this swim in particular I never fished before, so I just want to be sure and having a look at the eco sounder to see how the bottom is, the structure, and also in the cleanest part that I can see from my eyes, but also checking under the surface how it's basically this bottom. And I found some nice place actually where it's clean at the surface, so I can go with the boat easy, and also it's quite clean on the bottom with just few grass rising on the top. I know that for the next days it will be also stopping this wind that we are having now, and also it will be showing some sun. It means that of course temperature will rise and this shallow water will be more warmer. So why not? It will be good, I believe, for the carp to swim on this way and rising from the depth of the deeper areas downstream. So for this reason, I immediately started to bait it up the whole areas. Basically, I just put about 8 kilo of different boilies, crunched and full size, all in 18 to 20 millimeter diameters, and everything was drenched on a very attractive liquid. After that, I was quick enough to drop my baits, and I knew that basically, at least in this first stage of the session, if I can have some action, it will be in the night. And I wasn't wrong, hopefully. I had basically 4 runs with 4 fish landed. The first 2 was a couple of small fish, about 6 to 7 kilo, a common and a mirror. After that, it followed other fishes, which it was a mirror and a very beautiful common carp, which is actually the biggest common carp I caught here on this lake. Let's see to have some more action during the day and why not to land some more beautiful and bigger carp.
The first 24 hours are always crucial for me. It determines my mood and my feelings for the days ahead. Many thoughts rapid in my mind. How to choose a place. How to have the best from the time of our disposal. If luck will be on my side or against me. But one thing is sure. Making things right just by following my instincts and knowledge gained in the years. Just right when I was thinking to prepare some coffee, luckily for me that I was already there enjoying the moment, and I managed to land quickly another beautiful fish, a nice mirror chunk, making me hope for the best of the day. But it's time to reveal two of the fishes that I kept in the sling for the night. The first one is another cracking mirror, with a perfect mouth and lovely colors. The second fish actually is a mega aggressive looking common with full untouched lips. Feels like the privilege to hook them. As the sun rises, we also have to move on, preparing some new rigs and baits, like a ritual to chase our goals. Once on the water, I notice how the mess of weeds just moved as the wind pushes, so my yesterday spots are gone, and I have to reinvent new ones which are approximately at the same distance, but they can never be the same. At this purpose, I'm going to reduce also the amount of bait that I put in the water. Just a couple of spoonfuls on every single rig that I place. I simply cannot risk to satiate the fishes, and using liquids it helps quite a lot, attracting them and keep them hungry. Keeping the rod's tips high helps me in not making mess with the lines on the weeds. And mostly when I need to go out with the boat to fight a fish, they won't get in my way. Okay, finally we got a run in the day. It's late afternoon, but yeah, it took the whole day to wait for a run, but here we are. I can see the fish is already on the top. I will try to see if I can land a fish and fire it from here. Otherwise, I will be just using the boat and go out. That's awesome. We managed to land this fish just from the bank, literally, because this one was the shorter rod in terms of distance. It was at nearly 50 meters from here, and the channel was totally clean from where I dropped the bait and to fight the fish towards my direction. So basically, yeah, it's a nice mirror. We can see not the biggest fish, but it's super cool to have a run finally after a few hours of waiting. Now we're just going to unhook the fish in the water, and then we just bring it to the mattress. That was just working perfectly. My snowman presentation has been totally effective. And now let's have a look at this mirror. Beautiful mirror chunk. Also this one in pristine condition. Beautiful wild fish from this cold water.
The rig has already a good snowman with a pop-up still all in place and not ruined by other small fishes, so I just take the bucket with the bait and I go immediately. Seems that actually the lake is waking up, to be honest. After many hours from the whole morning and biggest part of the afternoon, the lake was totally silent, not a sign of a fish activities. And now suddenly in the last 15 minutes, clearly many carp jumping and cruising the surface, smaller fishes also the same, just going crazy. And this is happening just while the clouds are coming over and no more direct sun on the water. Probably, yeah, the carp, even if the water is quite murky, even if, yeah, just normally in this lake the water is gene clear. I don't know which factor is kind of bothering the fishes, I don't know, but seems that, yeah, that no more sun, no more straight light on the water, and fish turn it on. Let's wait and let's hope mostly that now another carp want to come visit, and maybe, yeah, why not, that we can play and have some more fun. These need to be covered, otherwise all the rats and the mouse all around here, you will be just eating and crunching my bait, and I don't want this. After this, I'm just going to place the bucket already in the boat, so eventually in the night, in the rush of everything, I'm just not forgetting something, and this is already on board. This was really unexpected. We were just here enjoying the last evening hours. I started hearing tawny owls, which is one of my favorite actually. And suddenly they became three, I suppose. And one of them just perched in front of me, and I had the chance also to take a couple of pictures and short videos. This is why I love wild places. You really never know what can happen, not only by the fishing side, but also for the wildlife animals that can be just around you. That's just priceless. Wow, it's been a very, very cold night comparing to all the previous nights passed here on the lake. What can I say? Yeah, I was expecting, to be honest, some more activity in the night after the dry day from yesterday, where we been waiting the whole day to get a run in the late afternoon. Then, yeah, I was just hoping for the night to be more to bring me more benefits from with the darkness. But then I only had one run around midnight of a nice mirror carp, hopefully, that I have here in the retain sling. I don't know, probably I didn't have much runs like the previous night because probably the fish will be more active in the day. I don't know. Let's see and discover it by living this new day. But now let's have a look at this fish that I have in the sling now. And voila, beautiful fish, really beautiful fish in really mint conditions. I'm so glad to catch this immaculate carp. It means really a lot to me. Really good fighter in the night and full belly. It means that the fish was totally feeding heavily on the bottom. Things are not working out how I wish it, to be honest. So I believe that at least one rod I will just change spot. And I think I will choose something totally different. I will just go with the boat if the grass will allow me to go far enough to reach other places in the far banks, because I see that is more shallow water, but it's also a area more protected by the land, so it has a more shade and more shelter for the fish. I've seen already some jumping on that area, so it's a reason to try this option, because as I said, there's a lack of activity, to be honest. And of course, as I said, if things aren't working out, I have to figure out how I can turn them on. So basically, let's try this option. We increased a lot the distance that we were just fishing till this morning. Basically, we reached a distance at about 200 meters, and still this is a great option using the braid line. In this case, the XAJ braid in green color, and this is just a very good solution using on the Whisker 25 QD reel, because it is a totally great setup. The rod is very light, the reel is super light, and combined with this, it's super handy whenever you are dropping a bait and you have to hold your rod in the hand for the long track to come back here. And also, of course, mostly when you are fighting a fish, it is really great pleasure. You don't get tired of holding the rod, basically, and it's super comfort. I like it really a lot. Another great feature of this reel is the fact that as long as it is very small and compact reel, it has a big capacity of line. In this case, as I said, I just drop my bait at 200 and more meters from me, and still have a lot of braid line in the spool. I just filled actually this spool with 330 more or less meters. It's also very good for long distance fishing, whenever you need to reach some more distances, whenever it's by casting or dropping with the boat, this is really a great solution. Wasn't the best day ever. It's still fishing and it's hard, you know, and you always have to put it in your plans that sometimes it can be very happy moments and sometimes it's just sad because it's just watching the water, the beautiful environment, but no runs at all. Actually now it's exactly 24 hours till we got the last run. And today, with my surprise, it was totally flat silence. At this point, I think that it depends what will happen in the night, but arriving to tomorrow, we have to take some decision. If eventually move on another position or just a different strategy as well. We will see. Also, there's a lot of difference between. Oh, it seems like a run. Okay, so probably it was a fake alarm, but the fact that we had some beep on the rod, I think it was the left one. It means that probably, yeah, with the darkness falling, also the fish starting putting their mouth on the bottom and feeding. So yeah, we are also feeding. So let's feed ourselves first, and then let's dedicate the time for the fishes. this fish was waited for so long, for so damn long time, really. In the middle of the day, we had around finally a very strong fighter, this beautiful mirror carp, and also it looks like a very good size as well. Wow, it was so intense. First of all, to manage to go towards the fish, to fight it through the weeds, and always you have that feeling and you are scared that you may lose it from a moment to another, because through you and the fish there's a lot of weeds tangled all on the shock leader, on the lead cord and so on. So yeah, you have to be very careful. But yeah, if you manage to do everything right, this is the results that you have, and it's pretty awesome. Beautiful mirror carp. Immaculate conditions. I love these fishes, really. They are basically untouched from this wild water. Even if it's not a huge fish, this is such a great reward, honestly. The power they have on the fight, such an intense feeling when you are on the boat and fighting them with the shorter rods, and yeah, you have your heart pumping, and really you can understand nothing until you get the fish in the net. Awesome. With a great result after a weather change, with so crazy weather, to be honest, from cold nights, hot days, clouds, wind picking up from east, ovest, north, constantly changing. It just drives me crazy. But then finally the sun is up, it's warming up again the water, and fish start eating again. Awesome. Before I'm going to drop my bait again, I just check quickly if the tip of the hook is still performing good. Also the hook bait and the pop-up is just perfect. And let's go. Lord of the carps, help me and let me catch the mama I really want. The same rod. I feel already the fish is stuck. We gotta go.
just incredible. I was crying like a baby that I wasn't having run for many hours, for about 24 hours, and then immediately run break the silence. A beautiful mirror chunk of a big size as well, and then after maybe 15 minutes that I dropped the bait again in the same spot, here we are with another fish. Beautiful, beautiful mirror carp, also this one, immaculate conditions. Love them, really love them.
Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working.
Such powerful fish. Crazy, crazy, crazy. The weather changed and the fish really seems to turn it on like this. Go, go, go.
Man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6 cents for imposters, so now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys, cause I break the chains. They try to hold me, I'ma push back, just wait and you'll see.
Crazy, 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 crazy action, and what a beautiful fish. Oh man. Oh. Who's the happiest man in the world? Me! What a fish! What a fish! Till the last moment I was so afraid to lose it because there was so much grass all over the lead core and the shock leader that I always afraid that with such a fury in the attempts to escape, it can just come off. Luckily, also for me, all the rigs is just working perfectly. They are just hooked on the lip perfectly, and of course, also the good tackle. It helped me a lot in this. Such a pleasure also to play this from the boat with the Infinity boat rod, and they're just amazing how they bend and how they react on all the fish attempts to escape with such fury. The rod just has a very quick response to everything, and the fight is just a pleasure, mostly when you have beasts like this on the other side of the line. Over the moon. Wow, a fish like this seriously deserves also a quick look on the other side. I'm going to show you right now. Yes! This is really a great reward. After the drill of 3 amazing fishes landed, I decided to take a little bit of a rest. Not necessarily for me, but just for the spots to calm down a bit, because actually from the first fish that I had actually 2 fish in the same spot, I'm sure that I just create some good confusions on the spot. So I prefer to let it rest for a while. The same for the second spot where I had this big mirror. I just want to wait a few minutes before to drop down again my bait. In the meantime, so I'm going to take a quick minute just to show you the rig that I'm using, the presentation, and how I just built it actually.
In first place, I used a curved shank hook size 4 with a thermotube to create the liner effect, adding a tungsten bead to keep the whole thing on the ground, but giving more mobility on the last section. To proceed on the lead clip, after adding the lead, I simply put a little bit of pressure on the rubber tail, so this will come off easily and make carp come to the surface, but mostly it will not be an obstacle through the weeds.
Before we go, I want to say something really important. Whenever you're fishing and dropping your bait from the boat, so it's very important to have the perfect sight of what you're doing and where you are placing your bait. You need polarized glasses. These just because in the middle of the weeds, in the perfect holes where you think that you can find the carp, so you can just do it perfectly and mostly, you can just be precise more as possible. Also because even if you have a little bit of murky water and not really able to see the bottom, with a polarized glass at least it helps quite a lot. So let's go.
Another cold night has passed by, and again with no bites, no runs at all. After the very great luck that we had in the day of yesterday, where basically in not even an hour we got 3 bites with very nice fishes. And again, suddenly the silence dropped again on the lake. This really makes me feel that we have to change strategy somehow. Basically also I think that a lot depends on the wind. For yesterday, the whole night also, we had a wind pushing from north basically, and I believe that this also pushed the fish just right away. From today instead we will have a wind picking from southwest, and this will probably make a difference. And I believe that also, as I said before, we will change some strategies. At this point, as long as I'm using shorter rods just for the boat, we will do something cool at this point. We have basically the last day to try to catch a carp or two. So I believe that, yeah, we just set the boat to be our shelter basically on the water. Let's see what happens. Okay, we are ready to go. As we said, we inflate another boat as a support to keep storage for a landing net, tent, mattress and so on, and mostly whenever we need to go on the spot to drop the bait and to fight the fish and save the fish from the snags. Basically, as I said, also it's very important when you do this kind of fishing, this lifestyle fishing from the boat, which is very adrenaline. It's very important to know how to save the space on board of the boat. So only very essential gears and just what you need enough for a day or two, depending how many days you want to afford to spend on the lake. Now the sun is rising, let's go. I don't really know what to expect, to be honest. The lake has probably the best potential for this kind of fishing, as long as the fish moves very often and quick from place to place, since the whole lake is a labyrinth because of all these weeds that creates kind of different channels and places for the fish to hide, to get repair, in search of the food mostly. And also it's very tricky in general, this kind of waters to fish, because natural food is so much. So you have to take care of where you're choosing your spots to drop your baits, and also lucky enough that the fish come to your spot and start to pick up your boilie. But yeah, it's part of this lovely challenging game. Everything that surrounds all and everything that is just around you, I find it really interesting and never gave for granted. Now we need to go slowly again through the weeds, just by rowing, and to find some holes through the grass where we can fish. Again, using polarized glasses is very essential to be able to see what can be the right spots.
I'm only thinking at the moment of how bothering is this wind. It was totally unexpected looking at the forecast, but to be honest, I think I will never look at the forecast anymore, because since we started this adventure, it always failed on what they said, basically. So now just let's go fishing and pick up what we can have. Let's start with the first rod, and I'm going to place this one on the right side for where we are based, basically, so that the other rod will be more easier to drop. Third rod. Also, I must say that even with this boat, without engine and just staying on the surface of the water with all these grass, weeds, as long as the wind picking up, it just blow me away immediately. So it's even hard to take the right time to drop the bait in the place, but it's not impossible. Well, all rods are in place. Now, really, we just have to wait and fingers crossed to be lucky enough to catch one or two fish even from here. It will be just the cherry on the cake before we leave and go home. Fingers crossed. What a feeling, what a drill. I need to jump on the boat.
happy angler. Wow, what a beautiful fish. What a big shoulder wide mirror carp. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Couple of hours of waiting just after I dropped my bait, and yeah, this really hectic run on the left rod, just on one of those holes in the grass, and this beautiful mirror just came to visit me from the boat. Really such a big adrenaline to fight this fish from the boat and being anchored on the boat. Lovely. Okay, now I can say that I'm 200% happy. I just achieved all the goals that I set in my mind when we started this fishing trip, and wow, I'm just literally over the moon. We had a great session with great fishes from the bank, fighting them from the boat with this 10-foot infinity boat rod, which just gave me so much adrenaline and wow, sensational feelings to describe. Now we moved from the shore, totally fishing from the boat in the middle of the lake, just being carefully on selecting the place where to drop the bait. And after a couple of hours, we got this amazing fish on such a powerful run, and really strong fish fighting along the grass, and wow, really now I'm more than happy. So basically, yeah, let's continue fishing, but whatever it comes is just an extra. So let's keep rolling. Just right after I was looking at the presentation, the rigs, to check actually if it's still okay to use it, not only for the sharpness of the hook, but I looked that actually the whole hook is a little bit opened. And this is really, how can I say, obvious because of the fact that the fish was quite big and in pulling hard through the weeds. Also, the whole weight also of the grass that I was lifting together with the fish, yeah, it just put under stress, really a lot of big stress, the hook itself. So I believe now it's the time to replace the whole rig with a new one, so we are sure that whenever we have a new run, it's totally 100% working and not showing any sign of weakness. Unfortunately, really the wind is pushing a lot, so it's, even if we have 3 anchors basically on the front, left and right, it's not possible to stay correctly in position horizontally to the rod pod and the direction of the rods. Let's see what happens now, and mostly I really hope that the wind will not getting worse. Yeah, the fight was short but intense, but such a beautiful long torpedo common. Wild fishes, definitely so beautiful. Folks, I believe that we are arrived at the end of this session. We just picked up the best from the days that we have lived here on the lake, whenever we were fishing from the bank and here from the boat. We also had a lot of fun today with these 2 carp that we managed to fight from the boat. It was so pure fun. So I think that with this we just say goodbye, and I invite you to like the video, to comment if you have something to ask, or if you want just to say something about this movie, and to subscribe the channel. So guys, I hope you enjoyed, and see you on the next one. Don't miss it.